All right, welcome back to my storage guide video. We are now on storage box 1, cards and big monster miniatures box here. So this is like the biggest box in storage box 1. It's probably also the most complex box out of pretty much all of the boxes that I've seen so far. So I'm going to do my best to try to give you some recommendations and ideas, but of course you can do them however you want. And also kind of what we're going to go over is talking about like sleeve cards and how they kind of fit in here. So this box here contains basically almost all the cards in the game. There is two other sections that has some cards. Those will be in storage box 2. And then of course, if you've seen my video earlier on the books, board, map, and extra cards, there was a few cards in there as well. But this is really the vast majority of all the cards in the game. All right, so let's look how I did it. You can do it in different way if you like. So this section up here in the top left is an area that I am using for, and I'm going to try to grab these. They do have sleeves on them in this case. Is my loot cards. Now, if you are using, maybe like the deluxe loot, then maybe you don't need to use these and put these in like a different box. But basically, if you want to use the main loot cards, this is where they will go, and they fit all sleeved in this spot. All right, so let's look here at the left-hand side. Well, let's talk about the center section first, and then we'll come back and do the left-hand side. So this main section is basically, it's not basically, it is every single, and let me see if I can get it here. It is, as you can kind of see, like the color palette here, it is every single hero's attacks and every class's role cards for all 8 classes in here. So for example, I will take out the shooter hero, and remember, these all have like dividers. So here's the hero's attacks for the shooters, and what I did was I put the hero card of a character. So this is a character that actually originally came in the Penumbral pack. So if you have that one, then you'll have this character. But I put their hero card followed by their 4 hero unique cards. And then it goes into your next hero. So then you see like Jessa here, who is also part of the Penumbral pack. But anyway, so you can put all of those hero cards and their hero attacks, because these will all be used in PvE now. And I'm just going to show one class, because it's all the same all the way through. So I'll give you an idea. All right, then the next section, so that is all the hero unique attacks and their hero cards. The next is the role specific attacks. So you see here's the divider for this, role attacks for the shooters. And basically that's just all you'll see at the bottom. These cards have level 0, level 1. I forget now if I put all these exactly in an order or not. Level 2, and then it goes up to level 3 cards. There is level 4 cards, but those are part of the Time Twist campaign. And I actually relegated basically most of the content to another box, because it's a completely different campaign that has some extra cards. There just didn't seem like there would be enough. So if you need to like rotate other cards in and out, depending on what you do, we'll kind of like talk about that. But that's going to be basically your option. So basically you put these 2 sections of hero attacks for the shooters and the role attacks for the shooters together, and then put them in here. So yeah, this is, I'd say it's still pretty tight. Most of the cards are sleeved in here, but basically how I've also organized this is shooters, and it goes shooters and brutes, because they share the same like combat role, which we talked about before. Then it goes tanks and bruisers because they share the guardian kind of role of the team. Then controllers and tacticians. Then healers and commanders are last. So that's pretty much all of the hero-related attack cards there in that section. Let's go here to the left-hand side. In here, you're going to see a breakdown of, let's see, and there is actually, let's see, 2 legendary strike cards. I have one more card I realize now that I forgot to put in here. So this is like the others 5. I can probably just slip this in here at the end. These are legendary attacks that you can unlock later in the game. And that can apply to, depending on whether it's the legendary strike or the legendary ray, it'll apply to either the range characters or the melee characters. All right, next up is the structures. So here are your structure cards. There is dividers specifically per building. So there is the Iron Hand Outpost, and there's a new card with that. And there's also one card gets replaced out of this. That's why this one's actually missing. I'm going to show that here in a second. But pretty much that's what you have there. So you have Iron Hand Outpost. Then you have the Natural Lab cards, and there's a divider for that. Then there's the Tavern cards, and then the Weapon Shop cards. So you just put all of those building type cards together here. And boom, there you go. So that is the structures section. Getting it all in there, boom. And then next up, and I'm not going to take out all these because there is a lot of cards. But basically what this next section is, and I'll just take out like the starting ones here, is the NPCs. So I have an NPC divider right there. These are the ones you'll start with. You'll see because they say initial at the top. So those are the NPCs you will basically use. At the beginning, these are only used in like the city and world phase part. As you start to gain more NPCs as part of your adventure, you'll get stronger characters. So let me show you an example of like a level 1, week 1. So this is a character you can unlock in the city phase, and they have more abilities that can be used. They also get a quest power, so basically you'll assign an NPC to a hero. So at the start of that quest, this, let's say I'm playing, one of the brutes, I can gain 1 mana cube right from the start of the quest with this character assigned. This section here is only used in the city phase, and then this section is used up here in the world phase. All right. So let me, and I have tried to organize them by like a week. So basically it's going week, 1 through 6. So week 6 cards are near the back. And so that's the NPC section. All right, next section here is the Comrade cards. You may not even really need these every time. It just kind of depends on your group. But Comrades is basically a way to either play with less or have a simplified character. So for example, let me show you the Weapon Shop 1 Comrade Shooter Level 1 Comrade card. So instead of having all of the hero unique attacks, you would just use this one card and then these 2 specials for your shooter, and then along with that that character's hero card. And that's basically all you need to play that character. So instead of using all the skill pads and items, and then all the hero unique and roll attacks, that's it. It keeps it much simpler. So if you don't have 4 people, then you can do that. Or if you're playing the game solo, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. But it's a simplified hero that you can do instead of just the standard way. That is in the rule book and is explained. All right, so the next section, I just used one of these generic others one dividers. And basically what I put here is pretty much just all of the special characters. And so there's quite a few now, right? So we got like Bromelade. So I did the exact same thing that I did with the hero cards, but it's for the special characters. So Bromelade has her hero pad, then her 4 unique attacks, and then, you know, like Kamimi and everyone else. So I put them here because there's just not enough room for all of, and this could change depending on if you sleeve or not. If you don't sleeve, then it's very possible you could put this section in here as well, and there will probably be enough room. If you do sleeve, like most of mine here are, there's just not going to be enough, not enough room to put them all in that area. But that's okay, as long as it's fitting in there, that's all that matters. All right, next up is, let me find my divider here because I think the divider got moved somehow. Yeah, I think it did. Okay, next is my PvP. It's really my PvP section. You don't need to bring this one if you don't want to, but basically this is like the solo PvP cards, and you'll see because it has this symbol here at the bottom, there's a way to play PvP solo if you don't have a bunch of people to play with. So it's described in the rule book, and that's anyway. That's kind of how I put these in here. Followed up by heroic actions. Heroic actions are cards that will be used basically in PvP. I don't think they're used at all like in the campaign, but just to kind of give you a look, this is what a heroic action card looks like. There may be a few instances of where it could get used in a quest, but it's still pretty rare. But this is where I am keeping the heroic actions. Next up is our flasks. Flasks are also another card you're not going to use a ton, but there is like one character, Magenta, who uses flasks as part of her main deck. So these are flask cards here. And so these ones are used in a few quests, not many, but mostly by Magenta. So especially if you're going to be using that character who I believe is unlocked in the game, then you'll definitely want to bring flasks. Otherwise, you may not really use them that much. All right, next up is a Fate card. So the Fate cards here are basically a deck of, I think it is 5 cards. Let me check. It's very small deck. Yeah, it's 5 cards here. And basically it's like numbers. So at the bottom you see like, here's the Roman numeral 4. And then there's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And so they'll be used in a few quests, but not many. So yeah, that's just another card that won't be used a ton, but it does have some use. All right, and then the last section here, which is just kind of off here to the side because you're probably going to use these a little bit more, is our new adventure cards. So these are your adventure cards. You can tell because they have this writing here down at the bottom. They're all letters, and they are not they're not numbers. They're all just letters. In the previous version of the game, adventure cards looked like this. And I'm going to talk about this in my upgrade kit, but basically these cards are not going to be used anymore, and neither are these quest cards. So they won't be used. Don't worry about them. You can get rid of them if you want because they are not part of the game anymore. All right, so that is adventure cards. So that is all of these sections, a crazy ton of cards. There is actually another section that I'm secretly hiding cards because I needed more space. It's actually under here. So one is, here is your core dragon. You can replace this with, like, if you have the painted green one. But just so you know, this thing is pretty tight. So it goes in this direction here. And you kind of got to push down a little bit to get it to snap in. But basically you'll see that once it's in, it's not going to come out. Like, it's very tight. So the core dragon is going to go right here, and I put that on top of these boss cards. So these down here, and I'll pull out just a couple so you can see them, are boss cards that will be used in certain boss quests. They don't get a ton of use because there's only a few different boss quests, but there's different ones, right, depending on what you're fighting. So this is the augur, and then there's like the red dragon there. And then I basically just put like a divider on there as the others too, but really, you know, it's just kind of, you know, sitting there. But then I put the dragon back on top, so the boss and the boss cards sit together, and basically I made 2 equal piles for them to sit next to each other. Okay, let's move on to this section here, which actually has quite a bit. All right. So I have my level 1 villains here. I also, and I'm gonna also talk about some of the upgrade cards here a little bit later in another video, but basically you have all your level 1 villains here. So these are all gold size cards. You'll see level 1. And pretty much there's like a numbering system, right? So it goes up, and as it goes up, usually most of them are like leveling up. So once we get to, let's see, I don't know if they're all exactly in order, but you get to about card 35 here, you'll be level 2 villains. So all your level 2 villains will go in there, and that is that section. So I'm going to actually kind of reverse do this and then put it back in. Once you at least have one of them out, it's easy to kind of push this a little bit to the side and then pull out your other cards. So on top here, I have the new Penumbral Phoenix and the Hellfire Phoenix card, and then this is the envelope card. Next, you'll see I have the level 3 villains here. And there is the number there that shows that, and I think it's starting at 71. I could be wrong on that, but at least, you know, that's about the range here that you're going to be in. And then you'll see I have all the level 3 cards. Now there's one thing that I did, and I had to do because there's not another spot for villain cards, is putting the level 4s in here. So like I mentioned, maybe in the previous video or this one, is that level 4 is only used in a time twist campaign. So these ones won't be used unless you're playing the time twist campaign, but there's really not another spot to put them. So I just put them with all the other villain cards. All right, and then finally we have, well, I think I pulled out the divider too. Let's see. Oh, where'd my divider go? Okay, I think just some of them got accidentally moved to the wrong spot. So that's okay. So there's a few more level 4s right there. Next is the bosses. So the boss cards all look like this now. So it's kind of like a villain card. Where it'll have a like defense, movement, reactions, and then it has different body parts here that'll be described that they can be attacked. So it depends on which boss you're fighting. They all have like different things written on them. But those are bosses, and you can just put them all, you know, like with this boss divider part on, and just put it back. Oh, okay. So then next, after bosses, make sure I don't lose my other ones here. There's secret compartment. You pull this out here, this basically another cardboard divider. And then this section here And I haven't gotten to sleeving all of these yet, but this section here is all of the hero pads. So you'll see I already have like quite a few in here, right? I mean, it's already filled up with all the hero pads, but pretty much these are the components that are going to be used just solely in PvP. So you just need to put these in here like that and just basically stack it back up. Put this cardboard divider there, and then don't let me forget these guys. Put this back on top, and that's pretty much all that is. That's just hero pad section, and then put it back away. So that's pretty much it for the cards and big monster miniature box. If you have other questions on that, I'll try to do my best to help answer any other issues you guys might have with it. But it's a full box and it is very heavy. So definitely be careful when you are, pulling this box out, because it has quite a bit of weight to it with that many components in it. So that's it for Storage Box 1, cards and big boss miniature. All right, this is Storage Box 1. One last thing I wanted to mention, and I know this is probably not the way that you should really store it where it's laying on the side like this, but just so you're aware, so I mentioned earlier there's like a little bit of a section up here where you could slip something else in. So what I had discovered, right, is in this section we were able to replace the regular this smaller cosmetic board here with the official main game board. It causes a little bit of lid lift, but not too much. But really what this allows is now you can slip in this other game board into the top, and it only pushes it up just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. That's an option. You don't have to do that. That's definitely not official. So that's just something that I kind of discovered. If you want to try to get another board in, this is going to be the one that will fit. The other game boards would not fit. They will push too hard on the top. But that is a way to kind of get away with that a little bit. Otherwise, if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. This is what Storage Box 1 looks like.